In this tutorial, we will be discussing volume. Here's our first formula. Volume of a cuboid is length times width times height. All right, here we have a cuboid. We need to find the volume of this thing. Just imagine that it was like filled with water, and this whole shape was filled with water. How much water would fit into this shape? Well, volume, the formula for volume is length times width times height for a cuboid. So let's have a look at this. We have the height right here is 7. We have a base which is 8, and then the length is 10. So there's a couple ways we could go about it. We could either multiply 7 times 8 times 10. Let's try that. So let's go the volume of this whole shape, 7 times 8 times 10. So that equals 560 centimeters cubed. Okay. However, we have a section here that we have to remove. This section has been cut out right here. So this whole section here has been removed. So we got to figure out what is the area that has been removed from this cuboid. Well, again, let's look at what is the dimensions of the shape. We know that is 10. This height here is, well, if this is 4, let me give it another number. Here is 4. Okay, and we have 7, so that means this is going to be 3. So we have 10 by 3, and here we have 8. There we have 3, which shows that this is 5. So the volume of this area that has been removed would be 10 times 3 times 5, which is 150. Now all we need to do is take the 150 and we subtract that from 560, and we have our answer. All right, we have 410 cubic centimeters. That's the volume of this shape. A different way we could have done this would have been to simply break this shape up into two shapes. So let's break it like this. So now we have 7 by 3, and the length is 10. So the volume of that cuboid would be 210 cubic centimeters, 10 by 7 by 3. And then we can look at the other shape, and we have this length here, we have the height, and then we have this dimension. So that is 10. That length, the height is 4, and this part right here would be 8 minus 3, which would be 5. So the volume for the red part would be 4 times 5 times 10, which equals 200. And then we just add that together, and we have the same answer. Those are two ways to solve this problem. All right, let's have a look at this shape. We need to find the volume of this shape. Now we have this interior part that's been cut out. So the very first thing to do, remember, we have volume, length times width times height. It's always good to write the formula. We have the height, which is 5, the width is 5, and the length is 8. So the volume of this entire shape, without the middle part that's cut out, would be 5 times 8. That would be 200 cubic centimeters. Now let's look at the inside that's been cut out. We have this square shape, cuboid or prism, that's been cut out. The dimensions are 2 by 2 and by 8, because it goes all the way through. So the volume of the red section, 2 by 2 by 8, that equals 32. And so all we need to do is take 32 and we subtract that from 200, and we will have our answer for the volume of this particular shape. All right, so let's have a look at this shape. This is a cylinder. What is the volume of this cylinder? So here is the formula. Volume equals pi r squared h. So let's have a look at this. In this case, this cylinder is kind of lying down on its side. So 12 would be the height of the cylinder. the radius is 5. All right, so if we take those numbers, those dimensions, the volume will be pi 5 squared times 12. This would equal 942 centimeters cubed. However, we have this whole section that has been removed, which, if you look at it, is equivalent. If we take this circle and we break it into 4 sections, we see that this is actually 1/4 of this circle removed. So all we got to do is take this number, 942, and we divide it by 4. That equals 235.5. So each section is 235.5, right? And now, what we take with that number, we add it 3 times, or we can multiply it by 3, and that'll give us the volume of this shape, which is 706.50 centimeters cubed. So the key to these tutorials is to remember and to memorize these formulas and to be able to use them in these shapes and to know what they're asking for.